Night Fam, can you escape your past? Mike Lindell grew up in a broken home. He was just 7 years old when his parents divorced. As a young, fragile boy, it affected how he interacted with people and how he saw himself.
When my parents got divorced, divorces weren't common, and I became put into a new school, and I became very shy. And I started doing things like either showing off or I couldn't talk.
And as a teenager, sadly, he found a way of fixing his problems.
Early 1980s, I got into coke because then I could talk to people, and I thought it was hiding my inner pain. So I started a long trail of addiction.
As a troubled addict from a broken-up home, Mike dropped out of college and at some point started his own business, MyPillow. And it ended up being very successful. But even when Mike had his own family and a successful business, the ghost from the past never left him, and he kept on escaping to his addiction. Day and night, no matter how much money and success he had, he couldn't stop. He couldn't understand why nothing could fix him. And this continued for almost 40 years.
And I knew I needed something. There were deep wounds that weren't filled inside of me.
At some point, this horrible addiction started to steal everything away from him. His 20-year-old marriage, his children, and he almost lost his business too. But then something you would never expect happened. Seeing all of this, his dealer did something totally unexpected.
He goes, "You've been telling us for years that this pillow is just a platform for God, and you're going to come back someday and help us all out of this addiction. You're our hope, and we're not going to let you die on us."
Not very often a dealer saves an addict, but that was the case for Mike. After a lot of work, he finally managed to quit.
That day, I knew my calling, that God had chose me for this, to help people. Help people like get out of addiction.
Now we need to ask ourselves a question. Why does a guy who has a family, a success, an American dream struggled for so many years? You see, for many of us, no matter how hard we try, we can't escape our past. For Mike, his huge issues started way back when he was still a little boy, when he never felt worthy or appreciated. There was nothing in this world that would make him happy if he didn't fix his past. And that is something we should all remember as we sometimes close our ghosts from the past in boxes until they fly out in the least expected moment and totally mess up our lives. Luckily, after overcoming his addiction and understanding his past, now Mike is focused on the present. He wants to help. More than 20% of his company's employees were former drug addicts, and some of his friends that were drug addicts before work for him too. Even the one who helped him.
All my friends have quit now because I was their hope. They're saying, wow, if Mike can do it, we can all do it. I pray that someone out there today, that my story changes a life, and that we can together beat this terrible opiate addiction that we're facing today in our country.